Hello, people. Welcome back to our channel BNM, a hub of awesome stories about books and their movie adaptations. Today, I decided to do the very first reaction video for the channel. I'm going to pick Project Hail Mary trailer that came out. So, actually, there have been two trailers that have come out. One 6 months back, the other came, I think, almost a month back. So I know I'm pretty late to the party, but as they say, better late than never. I've already done one video on the book because it's based on a book by Andy Weir, who's also the author of The Martian. So would like you to go watch that video first if you want to know more about my thoughts on how the book was and how I think the movie would pan out to be. But then for today, going into this analysis without any thoughts, without any initial bias, I just want to watch those two trailers one by one, and then I can react along as well as share my thoughts afterwards based on my knowledge of the book. Right. So without any delay, let's get right into it.
Please state your name.
Ryland Grace. I just woke up from a coma.
I'm several light years from my apartment, and I'm not an astronaut. I'm not an astronaut. I'm not an astronaut.
If you don't go, you die. With the rest of us.
The sun is dying.
You are the only scientist who might know what this says.
I'm just a teacher at Grover Cleveland Middle.
You have a doctorate in molecular biology. I need you to come with us.
This is Project Hail Mary.
The sun is not the only star dying. Every star was infected by its neighbor except one,
Why?
We don't know.
which is why we built a ship to go there and find out.
It's 11.9 light years away. The astronauts die in space.
It's what you Americans would call a long shot.
Hail Mary. I get it. Who on earth is going to sign up for this?
If we do nothing, everything on this planet will go extinct.
You'll find a solution.
You are my solution.
I put the not an astronaut. I've never done anything. I've never done a space. I can't even moonwalk. I understand the stakes. I do. But my place is in the classroom.
The world is counting on you.
This might be very hard for you to understand. But some people are not good at things.
You know who you are. You're gonna do great.
I conquered zero G in 5 hours.
Object approaching.
Oh my God. So I met an alien. He's kind of growing on me. At least he's not growing in me, which was a concern for a little while. I'm Grace. I'm gonna call you Rocky. Thumbs up. Nope, that's thumbs down. We do the thumbs up. It's close enough.
All right, that was trailer one. I'll reserve my full analysis and comments until after I've watched trailer two because I believe they would have shown more glimpses. So some of my initial questions and reactions would have already been answered in that trailer. But initial thoughts, I think this looks more fun. I do believe they've made Strat much more cooler, at least, than in the book. She was much more serious in the book, I guess. Also, Ryan Gosling as Ryland Grace also looks much more light-hearted and comical. I know where the comic is coming from. It'll be from Lord and Miller, given that they've done the Lego movie as well in the past. And the book also had those little comic timings fit into very tense situations. I think that is one way for the protagonist or for the stakeholders involved to try to relieve the stress amid all that was happening. But then this, at least in the trailer, this looks much more funny. I think that they're having a great time. Some of those dialogues from Gosling seemed a little overboard in terms of I put the knot in the astronaut. I can't even moonwalk. But hope that makes sense in the broader movie's construct, right? But initial reactions, I like the music track. I like how they've tried to make it more fun, almost like a fun kids movie in a way. But hope some of those questions that I have get answered through trailer 2, and post that is when I'll share my detailed thoughts on what I thought about the two trailers, and I also try to draw parallels from the book based on what we know so far from the trailers. So let's now watch trailer number 2.
Is that me?
I need you to come with us. The sun is dying. You have a doctorate in molecular biology.
And I ride a bike to work. And it's not for exercise.
If we do nothing, everything on this planet will go extinct, including us.
My ship. I'm Grace. I'm gonna call you Rocky. So, I met an alien. He's a genius engineer. And if I can't understand what he's saying, he puts on a little puppet show for me and my tiny brain. And you know what? I don't mind it. His planet's dying too. We're here for the same reason. Grace, Rocky, save stars. Am I expendable? It's almost like you don't care if I die. Hold on, you have to talk about it?
The consensus here is that it would be preferable if you did not die.
Thanks, guys.
You're a great scientist, Dr. Grace. And a great human being.
The world is counting on you.
In the champagne supernova in the sky. In the champagne supernova.
It's now or never.
How many special people change?
Call it fist bump, by the way. Fist my bump. No, it's fist bump. It's not the same.
Okay, we are now done watching both the trailers. First impressions. Again, I think they are continuing with the funny, the comical theme. Although trailer 2 was had a more serious tone than the first one, but still, I would expect a much more serious undertone, especially for someone who's trying to save the world and being stuck in those tense situations. Gosling came across as too casual, too chilled out a lot of times through the trailer. So remains to be seen if that theme continues through to the movie. As I said, you can expect it from a movie by Lord and Miller, given the past work that they've done. but given the task at hand, I believe they can do better in terms of maintaining a more serious tone. Again, we'll watch more when the movie's out. Second, I do feel that they are going a little overboard with those those funny one-liners. Also, even Andy, where in the book has done it to a certain degree, but there was a bit too much I felt in the trailer. Maybe because they try to, as I said, make the setting much more lighter. But a lot of those one-liners, a lot of those funny lines that have been thrown here and there. Thirdly, I do like some aspects of the trailer where they've, I think, shown on the impact that Astrophage has starting to have on Earth as well. So even before I believe our island goes on the mission in outer space, we saw some explosions, some impact happening on Earth, which is good, right? Because that adds to the fact that why he needs to volunteer or why he needs to go to that mission. Having said that, uh, I spotted a few changes from the book. So, some evolution changes that I want to specifically talk about after having watched those two trailers. Number one, the way Rocky is revealed. And I hope in the movie they cover that aspect, because in the book, Ryland Grace does not give his new alien friend the name Rocky all of a sudden, right? He's initially being referred to as ammonia engineer, right? This is the name that's given to the alien before they properly start communicating, because its actual name is a series of musical notes, right? Rylan takes a lot of time to understand and to comprehend what he could be saying, because it comes across as a series of musical notes initially to him, because and then it has a rocky structure. That's why he gives him a cool name of Rocky. But what we know from the book about Rocky is he's Eridian. He comes from the planet Erid. He lives in a high pressure, high temperature atmosphere, which is primarily composed of ammonia, and hence the name um, ammonia engineer that he refers to him by before landing on the name Rocky. I think they've already shown in the trailer, but Rocky in its planet is a structural engineer, and without spoiling, I think his its engineering skills are going to come very handy later when they Grace and Rocky partner together on that mission. Second, I do want to talk a bit about astrophage, right? Because that's the core theme of the book. That is why, in the first place, Grace is being sent out. In the book, astrophage is shown as a microscopic replicator. So, without boring you with a lot of physics, astrophage consumes electromagnetic radiation for energy. So, basically, sunlight. They reproduce by consuming carbon dioxide and store energy, right? So, all of this sounds great because it has great potential for future projects and use cases even on Earth. But then the caveat, the side effect is that it's depleting sun because it's consuming that energy minute by minute, day by day. In the trailer, I was disappointed because they touched very little on astrophage, and even some of those passing shots that we saw of the sun did not really hint towards something that's going wrong with it. So I hope they spend a lot more time in the movie on the core theme, because this is the core theme of the book, astrophage. Number three, the way Grace wakes up in trailer number one, right? I think at the start of the trailer one. In the book, Ryland Grace has days of total memory loss. So he literally takes days. Now, we do not know the exact number of days or time that passes before he actually comes to senses, right? Because it's more of how it unfolds slowly. But then he takes a lot of time to even comprehend what's happening, where he is, why is he here, who he is, right? So it's a total amnesia that he suffers. He even forgets what his name is initially. And this was intentionally induced by a drug administered by Strat before the launch of that mission, so that he cannot sabotage the mission he was being unwillingly forced into. And that's the key. He was eventually unwillingly forced into that mission, and hence he was induced with a drug which triggered a complete memory loss. Not sure if that's what we'll get to see in the movie as well, because I think initially they're trying to convince him, which happens in the book as well, but then he looks much more convinced before undertaking that mission, right? in the book, it takes all those events unfold very, very slowly. After he wakes up from his coma in the orbital, he is completely lost, right? So another change that I felt worth highlighting from the book. Another one that I can think of is I've already touched upon it, but the point around alien communications. So as I mentioned in the book, there's a math tone language. So they've, because of the construct of the book and the amount of pages that they had, Andy Weir has gone to a lot of details on how Ryland deciphered the tone, the language, the maths, the signals, symbols of what Rocky was trying to say. um, I see in the movie as well. They've stayed true to certain parts of it. When initially when Ryland is trying to decipher it, he eventually maps it to a computer, so he's able to now read. So it's a voice to speech analysis that he does eventually. But then I hope they show the science behind it, because that's very interesting as well. Um, Another passing shot that I saw was of that Eridani ship when it makes contact with Ryland's ship. Right? They showed, I think, spinning gravity in that trailer, hardly a few seconds. But again, going back to, and that's what makes Andy Weir's work so special, right? In the book, the ship is shown precise orbital mechanics of how the ship, which is called Blip A, by the way, it uses constant acceleration trajectory powered by Astrophage itself, which is interesting. But the aliens' lack of knowledge, Rocky's lack of knowledge, even though uh, Rocky is a structural engineer on his own, but they still lack that knowledge of relativistic physics, which leads them to miscalculate the fuel requirements for a round trip from Erid to tackle Astrovage and then back. Again, don't want to confuse with a lot of those details here, but this is a very important aspect of how, or the amount of research that um, Andy Weir does before writing each and every one of his books. This was the case with The Martian. This is the case with the Project Hail Mary as well. So I really hope that they touch upon that factor. I think that'll get much more clear when Ryland and Rocky start communicating, because both of them exchange their notes, their details about themselves, about the planets, and that's when Rocky shares of what they know. And that's what is fascinating for Ryland as well, that we are not the only species than humans. There is this very intelligent alien species which does a lot of science, but then there are gaps that each of them can fill for the other, right? Yeah, so these were some of those big evolution changes that I could spot from the two trailers. Another big controversy that's already happened after those trailers have come out is the fact that they have spoiled Rocky. um, I know it is going to be a gray area, because Andy Weir says that this is fine, whereas the fans disagree, simply because Rocky is revealed, I think, more than three-fourths into the book, and it's a big reveal at that point, because at that point Ryland Grace is coming from, trying to save Earth, and they're the species that they want to protect. But then that's when things become so much more interesting, because he then meets an alien species, which are also trying to do the same. So they have those emotions, they have that knowledge, and they're also desperately trying to do it. So the point of Rocky being introduced in the book is a huge moment. Whereas the makers, because Andy Weir said that the makers wanted to do it, and he's been very diplomatic about it, but they have decided to, maybe because of those trailer reactions and getting those initial hits, they've decided to reveal Rocky right in the trailer itself. Would it be a smart move? We don't know. We'll get to know from the movie, but I'd love to hear from you. What do you think about the fact that they've shown that alien species right in the trailer versus, um, almost disclosing that somewhere in the movie as a suspense? Right, but again, if I were to summarize and rate different aspects of the trailer, I think the VFX looks awesome. I also feel that Rocky could have been depicted in a much more aesthetic manner. I know why they've stuck to that spider-like rock-like shape, and that's how the name Rocky was also derived from. But I would have loved to see a much more aesthetic version of Rocky being presented. Um, on book fidelity, I hope they stay true to the underlying story. I'm not sure how many changes that they'll do. Again, we can expect some of them happening to trim down the movie to a consumable length. But as I highlighted, there are 4 or 5 changes that have already been able to spot just looking at those 2 trailers. So don't know how much more overboard they would have gone. Right. That was our trailer reaction for Project Hail Mary. Let me know in the comments what do you think of my analysis. Would you like the structure? Would you like me to go into much more details or much lesser? I would love your feedback on it. As I said, this is the first time I'm reacting to a trailer. If you like my reactions, let me know in the comments so that I'm able to do that for more of the movies, uh, especially the movie adaptations that are coming in future. Please hit like if you like this video, as it takes a lot of efforts, doing the research. Subscribe to our channel for more awesome breakdowns and connections to books and movies. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.